Well, hello and welcome to another episode of A Walk in My Shoes. This is Dan Vasquez, and today I'm so excited about our guest. We have today someone from the Human Chamber. Her name is Bhumika, and I want to say welcome, Bhumika, to the show.
Yeah, thank you so much for inviting me.
Well, we're just so happy that you had the time to be able to come in and come to the studio right here in person.
Yeah, that sounded like so much fun.
It's a lot better. I really enjoy. I mean, I appreciate the technology that we have today, but to be in person, it's just even better.
Yeah.
And so let's just get started. Let's get right in it. Bhumika, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, and what do you do today?
Sure. So I'm Bhumika Patel. I am currently living in Columbus, Ohio. I was originally raised in a very small town in Georgia. And my day job, I work for the Human Service Chamber of Franklin County as their Director of Membership and Community Engagement. And this is a brand new role for me. I've only been in this position less than 2 months, actually.
Awesome.
And the Human Service Chamber is... serves nonprofit organizations in Franklin County, serves as a voice for those nonprofit organizations in regards to like advocacy, but also bringing, these organizations together to share resources, knowledge. And my role specifically is focused on improving services that our organization provides to those nonprofits. We know that these nonprofits, most of them are on the front lines working with really challenging populations, vulnerable populations, and our job at the Human Service Chamber is to hopefully make their jobs a little bit easier and provide them some support, whatever support we can.
And you guys have.
Yeah.
CLC has been a member of the Human Chamber for a number of years.
Yeah.
And it's been a wonderful partnership. It's a great resource for organizations like ours. And, Michael Corey, big shout out to Michael.
Yeah.
If he watches this, tremendous support to us. So that's awesome. Now, did you ever plan to be in this kind of field? Tell us about your career path. Where did you start?
Yeah, no, I did not at all plan to be in this career path at all. When I was in college, I majored in women's studies, and I had originally thought about getting my PhD in women's studies and going the academic route. I actually ended up getting my master's in women's gender and sexuality studies, and as I was getting my master's, I quickly realized that, doing research, being stuck in the library, writing all the time, that was not enjoyable for me. And I really wanted a job where I could be out in the community. I'm a people person, and I love getting to know people and hearing their stories and figuring out how I can help them. And so that was kind of, the only vision that I had, that I wanted to be working with people and I wanted to be in some sort of helping capacity. And so my first job right out of grad school, I worked as an AmeriCorps member for the Salvation Army in Cincinnati in their anti-human trafficking program.
Wow.
Yeah, and the work that I did there as an AmeriCorps member was really focused on capacity building, helping to onboard volunteers, but also improving public education and awareness around the issue of human trafficking in the greater Cincinnati area. And wonderfully, the Salvation Army decided to hire me on. I became a full-time employee, and I continued doing that work of capacity building and coalition building around the issue of human trafficking. Because I think for so much of this work, it's not just one organization or entity kind of leading the charge and doing it all on their own. It requires so much partnership and collaboration and helping people kind of just work together, honestly. So that was kind of, I spent about 4 years doing that. And then I moved to Columbus to work on the issue of human trafficking at a statewide level.
Wow.
Yeah. So I started working for the Public Children's Services Association of Ohio, PCSAO, in 2018 on a statewide initiative to improve outcomes for child and youth victims of human trafficking. And in that role, I really acted as a subject matter expert for child child welfare professionals, juvenile justice professionals, and other child serving professionals. I kind of I had to like really, I know a lot about the issue of human trafficking. I can talk about it for days. But I really had to like learn about the landscape at a statewide level and figure out ways to like make sure people knew about like the resources that were out there, the resources that were developing, and then develop some resources as well in my role because it's still a growing field, I think. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So.
But this is something that you're passionate about.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, I didn't ever think that I would spend quite so much time. I think I spent about 6 years working on the issue of human trafficking, maybe a little bit longer. And I had no idea that that was something that I would spend quite so much of my early career on. I just, like I said, when I got out of grad school, I was just like, I want to be working with people and I want to be helping out in some way.
You know, that's really what I think is important in life.
Yeah.
To live not just for yourself, but to help others along the way, and those are the things that make this life sweeter.
Yeah.
So we need a lot more people like you. So then, and then this opportunity comes up with the Human Chamber. How did that come about?
Yeah. So I loved my job at PCSAO. I loved my coworkers, and so much of the work that we were doing there was really about supporting on the ground child welfare professionals who are, doing things that are really kind of scary, like going into homes, going into situations where they don't know what's going to happen, and like the mission of like keeping children safe, right? Yeah. But at the same time, I think we were doing that work at a statewide level and supporting these agencies and these workers. At the same time, I kind of felt like I wanted to go back to more localized work, I guess, and I honestly just saw the job posting on the Human Service Chamber jobs board, and I was like, this is an organization that I've kind of followed a little bit. I heard Michael Corey speak a few years back, and he really impressed me. And I was just like, I think I should just take a chance and see what this is like. I don't know what this role is going to be like exactly, and I'm still figuring it out. It's a brand new role for the Human Service Chamber. So it is exciting. And I mean, I feel like I have to learn a lot. But I think I'm really inspired by kind of the idea of bringing all these different organizations together and having like a more, what is the word? Cohesive voice in politics, in like what happens in our county, in our cities, right? In our communities, bringing people together. And then like I said, especially with the pandemic, I kind of fully recognize how hard hit a lot of these organizations have been. And so I wanted to figure out ways where I could be more supportive. Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, I always like our guests to normally take some time to ask some fun questions to our guests. Yeah. So I want to ask you some fun questions, okay? If you were a type of food, what type of food would you be and why?
I've never been asked this question before. I was not prepared for this at all. Okay. I think I would be ice cream, because ice cream is my favorite food.
Awesome.
Yeah. And I don't know. I just like ice cream.
It's a fan food.
It is a great food. It's a great food. I'll eat ice cream in the coldest days.
That's awesome.
I just love a sweet treat. Ben and Jerry's, what is it? Fish food is my favorite, because I like the chunks of like chocolate and caramel in it. Yeah. I feel like it's like a good surprise whenever every bite that you eat, and I feel like that's kind of who I am. I'm a surprising person.
That's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. What are some of the things that motivate you?
I think so. I guess, I mean, my family motivates me a lot. My family immigrated to the United States when I was 4 years old.
Wow.
Yeah. And I think a lot about how hard it was for my parents who had very little English fluency. not a lot of resources, how much they struggled and how hard they worked, I guess. And, you know, I think they definitely, they didn't envision this career path for me, but I think they wanted me, you know, they brought me here to the United States because they wanted to give me opportunities that they didn't have, and I wanted to take full advantage of them. And so I think a lot about, like, helping people like my parents, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
You were only 4 years old.
I was only 4 years old, yeah. My parents, like, put me into school right away. They were like, you're going to learn English, you know.
So you went here early.
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah. So it's an interesting, I guess, kind of journey that I've had.
Yeah. In the journey that you have, what are some of the biggest challenges that you faced, and even during school, even in the decisions that you had to make with jobs?
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about that. What challenges have you faced, and how did you overcome?
Yeah. I'll tell you, like, a really challenging time was right after I graduated from graduate school with my master's in women's studies and looking for a job. I think there was probably at least 4 or 5 months where I was just, like, so depressed and kind of devastated because I kept having, like, job interviews but not getting any job offers. And so just feeling like, okay, just getting rejection over and over and over again, and not fully understanding, like, what exactly, you know, I needed to change. What am I doing wrong? And honestly, like, you kind of feel like a failure, especially when, like, the people around you seem like they're succeeding and they're doing well, and it's kind of like, what's wrong with me? And so that was a really hard time, and I think it was especially a hard time because my parents, they live in Georgia. I was raised in Georgia, and I was here in I was in Cincinnati, actually, and they were like, you know, you can just come home, you know, just it'll be okay, just come home. And I was, like, really determined. I was like, no, I'm not going to come home. I'm going to figure this out. And that's when I kind of stumbled into this AmeriCorps position, and I think it just kind of, like, I didn't have a lot of work experience at that point, and I think that gave me, having this AmeriCorps position gave me a lot of maturity, helped me kind of understand the nonprofit human services world, and really helped me, you know, understand the issue of human trafficking on a deeper level as well. Yeah.
Wow. Do you have any stories from your career path, some of the stories that you go to when someone tells you, you know, what are some of the success stories or any testimonies from the people that you guys have served?
It's hard to say that I have, like, any direct success stories. Most of my career, I haven't done a lot of direct service.
Right.
I've mostly been
the support behind the curtains and doing all the big, a lot of the stuff necessary too.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. I think actually a couple of the accomplishments that I am especially proud of in my role at the Salvation Army, as well as at the Public Children's Services Association of Ohio, I worked very closely with the Department of Public Safety and the Ohio Anti-Human Trafficking Coordinator in developing resources and toolkits and guides, and kind of pulling together a lot of the best practices that are out there and kind of putting it onto one place and localizing it to Ohio. So those are, I mean, it's not like really, it's not really that interesting when you think about it, but it's something that I'm really proud of. Just, you know, collecting this information, making it accessible, making it relevant to these audiences. Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, I guess it's not super exciting.
No, but it's necessary.
Yeah.
It's so needed.
Yeah.
And you know, it does make a difference as well. So that's a good thing.
I guess I'm particularly excited about it because it's, like, on, like, these government websites as, like, resources that anybody can access, and that makes me happy.
Wow.
Yeah.
Human trafficking, you know, most people won't think about Ohio as being a place where that happens, but we know that that's a huge huge issue here
Yeah.
in our state. But, well, thank God there's organizations like that and
Yeah.
that can help. Now, as far as career paths and things like that, what would your message be to a young person that's watching this show and you said, you know what, this sounds like fun. This sounds like that's something I might want to do in the future. What would you tell them to study? Like anything in your studies that you say, wow, I really needed this? Or what would you tell a young person?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty strong liberal arts education, and I think the things that have made me successful have been like my public speaking skills, my ability to write well, and my ability to kind of research and sift through all of the things that are out there and be able to identify like what's most critical, what's most helpful, what's most important. And so those are the skills that I think I use on the daily.
Okay, hold on. I'm sorry.
Sure.
I want to go back to the beginning of what you just said.
Yeah.
Your education.
Yeah.
Liberal arts.
Yeah.
Education. Can you break that down to someone who is not in college yet?
Yeah.
And what does that mean?
Yeah.
Because I think that's a key thing.
Yeah. So liberal arts education kind of is very broad, I think, and it can include anything from English, history, sociology, math, science. I think of a liberal arts education as like a broad education in a lot of different things. And you can, when I went to a liberal arts college, you still major in various things, right? But there's a strong focus on writing and research, I think, at liberal arts institutions.
And the ability to think for yourself.
Yeah.
I think that's a huge thing with liberal arts education. That they train you to teach you to think. And, of course, with the writing and all of that. Absolutely.
I went to a really small women's college. When I was there was less than 1,000 students.
Wow.
Yeah, all of my classes, the vast majority of my classes were less than 30 students. I even had a couple of classes where it was like 6 or 10 students.
Oh, wow.
And so when you're in a class and it's just you've got your professor and you have maybe 6 or 8 other people like next to you in that same situation, like you have to like participate, you have to speak up, you have to kind of share your thoughts and really dig into like the material and kind of, and it's hard because you have to be brave, right?
Yes.
And you, especially when you're a student and you feel like you don't really know anything, you have to be willing to kind of put yourself and your ideas out there. Yeah.
Wow. And this has helped you in the future.
Yeah, I don't think I would be as confident as I am without that sort of educational underpinning. Yeah.
So you would suggest for someone who's going into this kind of field to get that type of degree?
I think it worked for me.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's great. And if you had a message to the youth in our city today, what would that message be? What would you like to tell the young people?
I think when I was in middle school, high school, even in college, I had no idea that this is where I would end up. And I think that's okay. I don't think you have to have a clear vision all the time of what career you exactly want or what you want to be doing in life. I think it creates a lot of pressure sometimes for kids to have to like figure that out at such a young age. And I think I was definitely privileged. My parents supported me so much, and they gave me a lot of freedom to be able to try out different things and just kind of pursue the path that I wanted to pursue.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, it's okay not to know, and it's okay to try different things.
Yeah.
And I think be brave about what you want to try to do and just kind of go for it and see what happens.
Did that ever happen to you where you tried something and you were like, no, this is not what I want? What did you do? How did you do that?
So there was, when I was in college and a little bit in, I can think, grad school, there was a couple of times when I was like, oh, maybe I want to like get into politics and not like directly in like becoming a politician or anything like that, but like wanting to like understand how campaigns work, wanting to like understand how like fundraising works and all of that, like how how does someone become an elected official, right? And so I remember like getting like one job with the Democratic Party of Georgia when I still lived in Georgia. And, you know, they just started me off as like a fundraiser. And I hated it so much. It was something that I was interested in, wanting to know more about. And it's something that I was like, I want to support the Democratic Party of Georgia. I want to like help. But like, as I was doing this, I was like, I hate this so much. This does not make me happy. I only lasted a couple of weeks before I was like, oh, I think I need to quit.
Well, you knew quickly.
Yeah.
And that was okay.
And it's okay. Yeah. It's okay to do things and kind of stumble your way through it. I spent, when I was doing AmeriCorps, when I was in grad school, I worked part-time at Best Buy in customer service. And that was another job where I was like, this isn't great. But it was kind of okay because I like problem solving, and that's what a lot of customer service is. So it helped me get through like tough financial, tough times, I guess. Yeah.
So I guess everything you go through helps you.
Yeah.
To where you're getting ready to go to.
Yes.
So, wow. Well, Mika, we have come to the end. We're running out of time.
Okay.
But it's been a real pleasure having you here, hearing your story. And we thank you so much for your time coming.
Thank you so much for inviting me. I hope this was a good interview for you
and
for anybody who watches it.
Yes. All right. Well, thank you again. And for all of you watching at home or from the computer, from wherever you are, thank you again. We're looking forward to see you again next Wednesday, 1 p.m. I walk in my shoes. Have a wonderful day.